Okay, welcome to Talk Tennis.
Yeah, it's my first time with these guys.
I know, it's a new little chemistry. We got a new foursome. So we have Manish, Brittany, and Chris joining me.
Hey. Thanks for having us.
And we're bringing back the Beyond the Playtest, and we're starting with the Pure Drive. We're talking about all things Pure Drive today. My icebreakers question is, tell me about your history with the Pure Drive. Manish is like all of a baby.
Yeah,
so
I've never played with the Pure Drive.
Okay, great. Then tell us.
I played with the VS previous version of this one. I liked it, but for different reasons. It's nothing like this. This is the 98, by the way. I liked it, but it's not anything like this. That one plays like a Pure Drive, just with a smaller head size. It's different. Like I don't know how to say it, but this is not just a Pure Drive with a smaller head. This is a lot more stable. It's a bit more arm friendly as well. Like you don't get that from a typical Pure Drive. I haven't. Can't speak for everybody, but this is like a lot more stable, a bit more comfortable. I customized mine. Like every time I like a racket, I just start customizing it.
We are going to go into depth in customization.
You're really just jumping in.
I'm just jumping in. Yeah, no, but I really like this one. And I think it was a good thing that I had never played with a Pure Drive before, because this is such a different one.
Yeah.
Squared off and everything.
Yeah,
so
you were fresh.
I really liked it.
How's the feel for you, like on touch shots and stuff like that?
It did really well. I did not have any issues with it. I have been using the RF01 Pro, and they're very similar, at least to me. Power level and the touch as well, like the feel. Not super similar. I feel like the not like exactly the same.
It's the same, but it's different.
Same, but it's different.
What's the beam width?
On which one?
How do the beam widths compare?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
But I can still hit really good drop shots on both the frames. Is what I was trying to say. And I can still feel really good direction and all that stuff. So.
Yeah, I would say they're both crisp, very direct response. Yeah. And then I brought some Pure Arrows with me because I love this racket, and I've kind of transitioned out of Pure Drive. This is my old cosmetic, the Pure Drive that I use, the Plus version, this exact one. And I really like the 98, but this is the racket from Babolat I love the most. And I think if you like the Pure Aero 98, you're going to like the Pure Drive 98 too.
I like the Aero 98s, yeah.
And I have a question for you guys. We're going to dive into that too when we get there.
The icebreaker question.
Really excited. Okay, Britt, keep us on track.
All right. Well, I've play tested a couple more, or hit with a couple more Pure Drives than you. Started in high school. 2002 Pure Drive Swirly, which when I was using it, it was the Pure Drive Team.
I'll bring one in for you.
Okay.
Actually, Tim has one in the office.
Yeah. I should have brought that. I was debating between which one. Yes, but the Swirly, and then I used the generation after that, which was also still called the Pure Drive Team, and that was probably my favorite of the cosmetics. And then since then, so I used that in high school and college as well. And then since working at T-Dub, while I have gone to the Yonex side, I still always will carry a Pure Drive in my bag. So it always makes my top 3. So I've play tested pretty much every generation since then.
Nice. Chris?
Wow. So I played the Pure Drive Roddick, the standard length version, for 2 or 3 years. Loved that racket. I really liked that it was Pure Drive power and spin, but in more of a player's spec.
Yeah.
So it was nice and beefy. And then I started customizing them. You will get into that later.
Yeah.
And then
so
the next Pure Drive I really gelled with was this one. I think it was the 2015 Pure Drive, and I used the Plus. So again, I liked the swing weight that it offered because it had a bit more of a player's racket feel to it. I thought it was a great racket. Loved it on my backhand slice. That extra leverage really helped me knife the ball. So Pure Drives win points. They give you the power, they give you the spin, and you put your favorite poly in there, and you're good to go.
Nice.
Michelle, how about you?
My origin story. I love it. I was a Prince sponsored player, and I used the 28-inch Prince Precision Akeep long body racket in juniors. They discontinued it. They kept sending me Prince rackets. I couldn't find anything I liked. I demoed all summer, and the second I got the Pure Drive Swirly, it was actually Pure Drive Team Plus, in my hands, I was like, this is it. So I played all college throughout with that racket. Back back then, I don't even know if I knew it was a half inch longer and that it was like, I don't know. I don't know what the specs were. After college, I had to pay for rackets. So I actually was working with Wilson and I said, give me anything that plays like a Pure Drive. And then when I went to coaching, I went straight back into a Pure Drive. And I think I was trying to remember, was one of my first racket of choices here a Pure Drive Roddick?
I thought it was.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
I think I've only had like 2 racket of choices. It was that, a Pure Drive Roddick, and now the RF97.
Meh.
Meh.
No, that makes sense.
And now like contemplating, a Pure Drive 98 switch. So also contemplating. Don't get it. But
I feel like you and Chris are the two
That's a-
people who get asked about, like, are you switching all the time on the YouTube channel?
I don't know. I just think because now my racket's discontinued, people are like, what are you switching to? And I'm like, I don't know. I still have RF97.
One day she'll just slowly sneak it in there. She's
I
not
might
going to
just
make
put
an
it on there,
announcement.
yeah. Okay, so with that being said, let's talk through the different models. We've all play tested some of the same ones and some different ones. Britt, you were on the 100, just the
Yes.
standard, and we had a chance to do that with some of our affiliates also, but talk to me about what you noticed that's changed with the update.
So with this update, I will start off saying it's a Pure Drive to start. So if you've been a fan of previous Pure Drives, you're going to love this next one. It just has that pure power and everything you love about a Pure Drive. As far as differences for me, there isn't a ton of differences. Probably one of the smaller things I noticed was the feel, which can we touch on that now?
Yeah, please. Let's talk about
perfect.
what's
Let's dive in.
changed. Yeah.
It is, I'm saying this tentatively, a bit softer feeling, but it's still a firm feeling racket overall. So like it's not going to be a super plush feel, but it is, I feel like, slightly softer, at least
Does
for
it
me.
feel more muted to you guys?
It's a little bit more dampened, I
Okay.
would say. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So yes. And then I'm trying to think the other thing I felt was maybe just slightly more stable for me.
Okay.
Maybe just a little bit more, when I was getting through the ball, felt a little bit more solid to me. But that was my first impression or overall take.
Were you on the 100, the standard?
No, I was on the plus.
The plus. Okay.
Mm.
Were you on the 100 standard?
No.
Okay.
It was a global when we did that.
global.
That's a
Okay.
global.
Did you have a favorite string setup on that racket?
For being just the standard one
Yeah.
and being so much power, you got to go full beta poly.
Yeah.
My 2 favorites are Cyclone and Hyper G. Can't get away from either of those 2. So for me, those are the 2 that play the best.
Nice. Okay. Let's go extended. You were on extended. No.
No, just did
We were on
98.
extended.
So-
let's talk extended.
What a serving machine that racket
Yeah.
is. Loved it on the serve. Found it actually surprisingly maneuverable. Like when I was at net, when I had shoelace volleys, I really liked scooping out those shots. And anytime the ball was hit at my feet and I was slicing it, worked great. At the baseline, it was the opposite story. If I was trying to come over the ball and hit with topspin and the ball was hit deep on both the forehand and backhand, I really struggled to dig those shots out. But that was it. That was the only negative for me was that one instance. Anytime I had time to set up, loved it. I could really tee off. Loved it on the backhand slice. That extra length gives you that leverage to knife through the ball. And just a fun racket for doubles too, just because big serves, big returns, love it at the net. So really, that was a really fun play test for me.
Now, something that I don't realize, I don't really remember this from previous generations, but it is prevalent. The swing weight's pretty low for 100 plus.
Yeah, it's manageable.
Yeah. So I think that's worth noting. And were you on the 100, the E-Zone 100 plus?
Yes.
How would you compare the two?
Oh, good question. Both are great serving rackets. I would say the E-Zone is a little softer feeling still. We talk about how the Pure Drive softened up. The E-Zone had a really nice flex to it. You could really kind of feel it breathing. Give maybe the Pure Drive just the edge slightly, the Pure Drive Plus in power, and then the E-Zone 100 Plus, a little bit more feel, a little bit more control, but very comparable rackets. If you like one, you're going to like the other, I think.
Okay. Yeah. And then any favorite string setups that you had?
Pure Drive, I really liked Hurricane in it. I'm a big fan. I like that string from way back in the day. It's in that one right now.
It's in one of the rackets.
And it's a good string. And one of the Barbara strings that I find to last well too when it
Yeah.
sits in a racket. So,
Do you change your tension a whole lot when you go? Drive?
so I would potentially beef it up a little bit. With Hurricane, no, I go 52 pounds.
Okay.
And then quite often in the Pure Aero, the Pure Aero 98 or the Pure Drive 98, I'm down in like 48 pounds. So yeah.
Okay.
Okay, here it comes. The Pure Drive 98, which the three of us were on.
Yes.
And Chris can speak. I know he's hit it. And then he's got the Pure Aero 98 thing.
Okay.
But let's start with just the playtest, bare bones. What did you guys think right away?
Oh, I loved it. It was so.
Did you have a chance to hit it next to the 100?
No.
Okay.
No. I just played with this, and I played with my racket, which was the RF01 Pro, and so I wanted to. How do I say it? So when I first played with it, it's a 305. So I haven't used a 305 in a long time, so I just wanted to customize it straight off the bat.
Yeah.
But then I started playing with it still with no customizations. I played with it for a week or two, no customization, and it was still good. But I was getting the power, but I was not getting like it was still not very solid. Like I don't know how to explain that feeling.
Did you feel like you were lacking plow through?
Yeah, like kind of.
Mass behind the ball.
Yeah, but the ball is still flying, so I don't know how to explain it. I feel like I'm hitting the
He
ball
doesn't know
because
the
the ball
Pure
is
Drive,
going.
that's
Right.
The Pure Drive.
Yeah, the ball is flying, but I don't feel like I'm hitting the ball. So I wanted to add a lot of weight to it, so I customized my frame a decent amount. And you liked it when I we both liked this customized.
You threw a
98.
leather grip on one of the headers.
Leather grip. It's a 330 swing weight now, strong.
Yeah. Britt, what
Too
about
good.
you? Because
The 330 might be a little too much for me.
yeah, I was gonna say,
But I would say, I get to put everyone on the play test, and very rarely would we ever kind of,
Yeah.
both be on the same play test. So it's cool that this racket kind of brought together a couple different It feels like I feel like the Pure Drive is known as a tweener. This might be even another sort of tweener,
Yeah.
a different category of tweener. But for
well,
me,
and it's interesting just to chime in real quick because Tiff was the fourth on that one.
yes.
Yeah.
And she unfortunately didn't find the chemistry with the racket the way that some of us did, and she comes from a Pure Drive background too. But her preferences in racket have changed a lot. She's using an 1820. She's
Yeah.
using like a more controlled racket. So anyways, that's why she's not on this podcast. But we're going to have her for gravity for sure. But anyways, keep going, Britt.
So for me, I typically always go for the 100 square inch head size, and there's very few 98s that I enjoy, and this one is definitely, if not top two, number one. I'd say the other one I really enjoy is the VCore 98. So
Yeah.
for me, these two rackets, I feel like are pretty forgiving for 98 square inch head size, and I always stick with the 300 gram weight. So for the 305, I felt like it hit it well, and it felt still easy. Didn't feel like a big adjustment to me, which was kind of the key. And when I'm looking for a little bit more control out of my Pure Drive, definitely found myself going to that. I was actually, at one point, I had both of the rackets in my bag, and I was like, today I need a little bit more control. And I'd pull out that, and I kind of could go back and forth between the two, which is pretty cool to do. And yeah, I just liked.
Do you tweak your string setup?
Typically, no. I'm stock form girl. It's my vibe, and typically stay the same string and tension. Although I was thinking I might have to add maybe like a hybrid to the 98. I feel like I can't do that with the Pure Drive because I think I just need that control. But with the 98, with a little bit added control already built in and that extra cross string, I think that a hybrid might play really nicely.
I should try that. Maybe like XL and then keep the Hurricane or something like that.
I was gonna say, I felt like this Pure Drive 98 had big shoes to fill after the Pure Aero 98 came out, because that racket is loved by so many players. And so I was like really wanting to love it right away out of just like bare bones. But I've been spending weeks since the playtest trying to get it dialed in. Today was the first day that I was saying that it felt like I'm finally getting there.
You were hitting great, by the way.
Thank you. Troy helped customize, so it's 12 ounces strung and a 340 swing weight, we found out.
Yeah.
A bit of a smaller grip size for me, so it's a quarter with an overgrip. I tried the leather, and it wasn't working for me and what I like, but we're slowly getting there. And I've got snapper in mine, and it just felt really good today, like really plush at contact, good control. I can still head out. But what makes the Pure Aero 98 so special, and like how do you compare it?
So same when the Pure Drive, with this Pure Drive 98 update, I was like, I love this racket. I've been using it for string play testing the last couple of years, the Pure Aero 98. So I'm like, okay, super excited to hit the Pure Drive 98. And I hit them a lot side by side. I was playing points with them side by side. I would do like a service game and a return game with one, then switch, do the same with the other one. And every time I switched, I just played a little bit better with the Pure Aero.
Yeah.
So Pure Aero still wins for me. I feel like I just get a little bit more on my shots with it. It's a little bit more forgiving for me. When I'm just hitting, it's really tough to pick which one I prefer. So it really came down to point play, and I was just winning my points easier with the Pure Aero 98. And I think, again, just kind of pushing my opponent around a little better with it.
I wonder if it's because like we hit more flat.
Yeah.
So the Pure Drive, and then you have more spin to your game, and so it's just better.
Yeah, it might be it. Yeah, I definitely felt like I was getting more on my ball and maybe a little bit more shape to my shot too. So I could hit faster, get the ball dipping in just better, especially on angles, lobs, things like that with the Pure Aero 98 compared to the Pure Drive 98. At net, it's really tough to pick a winner because I think are both great volleying rackets. They've enough stability there, enough control, and then plenty of power. So what I like about both of them is I can soften the grip, let the racket do the work, and then I'm just kind of like feeling where I want to place the ball.
And the 98 used to be a 1619, right? And now it's 1620. So it's they both are the same string pattern now. Did you like? Could you tell a difference, or did you like feel anything?
So I just hit it with the new one and hit it so much with the.
Oh.
I'm glad that was one of my critiques with the last one, because it was just like, I felt like we play tested the last one and I felt like it was too similar, but just a 98, and there wasn't a huge difference, and it just, the feel wasn't there for me. I wanted to ask real quick though, this seems to be coming trending and controversial. This is a glossy paint and this feels more matte. Do you guys notice a difference in feel, or like, does it matter to you?
I like the gloss. Maybe that's another reason why I play better with this one.
In terms of feel, this is odd, but I feel like matte feels a little bit more mushy and softer, and then like something like that feels a lot
crisp.
more crisp.
Yeah, I know. I think
and
that way
it's
too.
so odd to say that like a finish of a racket can do that to it, but does anybody else feel that? Like the new T-Fights are like that?
So when I switch between models of the head speed, because there's another racket I've used over the last few years for a lot of string testing, the latest one is matte, and it's got a very soft, muted feel to it compared to the previous glossy ones. So, yeah.
Okay, so I'm not crazy.
No.
You're not crazy.
Okay,
There's a Crawford test, I think, coming, because I keep asking and he's like, you're crazy. But like, it's come up a lot, and I know there are a lot of players that like are like, oh, I hate the matte, or oh, I hate the gloss. So
I feel like the trends came and go. It was like glossy, and then it was matte, and now I think it's back glossy for everyone. Maybe because the pros play with it too, but
yeah,
I think glossy is the way to go.
What do you guys think of the paint job? I meant to ask Cosmetics. What are your thoughts? Do you like it? I can start because I love red, and so I love that hit of red. I do keep getting a little confused. The 98 does have the red grommets, which is nice, but it's hard. They all start looking the same. What do you guys think?
I didn't like this.
Didn't?
No, I didn't. No, it felt like too dark, and it looked from distance. It looked black to me.
Yeah.
And I don't like this either. But so I really liked this one.
Really? And I just said it. This is one of my least favorite Cosmetics.
I love this one. This like this blue compared to this blue versus compared to this blue. I would go with this blue all the time.
I say we bring back the baby blue.
I like
from the 2002 to 2004 era.
The Roddick ones? No.
I call it Smurf. I like the Smurf blue one.
Yes.
I don't know. That might have been.
And this is the closest to it, right?
No, it's lighter.
No.
Yeah, this one has a lot. This one has the most white.
Oh yeah.
Because on the sides.
It's so pretty.
This one is the one that oh no, that's the anniversary one. See, the anniversary one kind of looks like we should go through the
Okay,
years.
we'll show you the
I think I know which one you're talking about. The baby blue one with
it's like light blue and black.
I like this one.
Okay. That for some reason reminds me
like
of
that.
you.
I like
The
that.
GT, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think that was the first one you used at Tita, maybe?
Probably. And then I was probably collecting them.
Is that the one that Kim Kleister used as well?
She used a lot.
She used a bunch of different cosmetics.
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
Well, and then Chris, maybe you can tell a story about Rafa using Pure Drive.
So he used to use a Pure Drive. There was a comment the other day on our YouTube channel. When he was young and when he was a junior, he was a Pure Drive player. I think Moya had a big influence, obviously, on his because we know, and he was a champion for Babolat rackets in the Pure Drive line, and so if you look, 2003 Monte Carlo Open, he's playing Pure Drive.
Oh,
yeah.
Did they make the Aero just for him?
I don't know if they made it just for him, but it definitely is a racket that fits his swing style.
Yeah, most definitely.
Well, and then a big question that we've been getting, and we will ask Olivier when he is in the studio, but everyone's asking where the tour is. R.I.P.
As is Michelle.
I mean, you've gone to an extreme with the swing weight, at least.
12 ounces, which shows that you can make it what you want it to be.
But I think the Pure Drive 98 anaerotic spec would be pretty sweet. So
You can keep the 98 and then give it like a 98 tour.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So I do keep telling everyone that's interested that they can give us a call and we can help them out, or you can reach out to us on YouTube. Troy will give you
He'll comment the whole paragraph
Just-
on how you can customize it.
We got you guys. I also wanted to ask, this one's not as fun of a question, but I think it's something that we're good with transparency. Have you guys noticed any differences in spec and a little quality control in some of the hitters? Because that comes up from time to time.
Sometimes.
I think we had one that was a little off in swing weight.
It was like super low.
Yeah.
Yesterday this is not even customized.
This one's customized.
This one's customized. Okay.
I can see the tungsten tape.
It's on
Remember the one we were looking at once, and it was like just way off. It was like we did mine, which was the 330, but this is customized.
Well, and I thought it was a 98, but it was a 100.
Oh, okay.
And it was like 316.
Because we were doing
I thought there was one Pure Drive 98 that was lower, and I think I
318.
liked it.
Yeah, you liked
Okay.
that.
And then
Remember
you were-
that? Yeah, that's the one you like.
That's more in my wheelhouse.
318 or something, or 320. Yeah.
And then the
so
other
there's
one was-
definitely like a few odd rackets there, but otherwise I think it's been pretty good.
I think the standard Pure Drive we play tested was
Yeah.
right. The 2 or 3 that we had was kind of right all within the same.
I will say the day we hit at Templeton, I was feeling really good with the standard, and it did not feel, like you said, it felt really stable, and it did not feel like the low swing weight. It played really nice. So there was a comment, I don't know if it was on our YouTube or somewhere else, but they mentioned that the paint was chipping already, and I have spent months with this racket, and I'm not seeing any paint chipping on mine.
Well, the true test would be to
So-
give it to Jason.
Yeah.
Hey.
We've had some grommets shaved on other brands of rackets that we've been testing, and like these are holding up quite nice. So if that is a concern, we really do put these to the test, and I think so far they're holding up really well.
Even the bumper guard looks.
Yeah,
Like
and
it's-
like that's Manish hitting, doing his under the in between. What is that shot called? Tweener.
A
Was that a
tweener.
tweener?
It wasn't a
It's
style.
The driver's
Pure
permit
driver.
shot.
The driver's permit shot. Yeah, the pure driver.
Okay. Who would you recommend the Pure Drive to? And if you're recommending it to someone, what other racket should they demo alongside? Starting with the Pure Drives, the standard Pure Drive.
I can start.
Go ahead.
Since I am a Pure Drive user, have been. Junior players, I think the one thing that's awesome about the Pure Drive is that it's a pretty wide range of players it can cater to. You can be a junior player, college player, use it, and even still to this day, I feel like I use it. And then I know at one point I was helping one of my mom's friends get a racket, and she actually picked the 108 of the Pure Drive, and she said that one alone stood out from all the other rackets I tested. So I think the cool part about the 100 is that you can really have a wide range of players, playing styles, and then you can start to customize it as you grow with the racket.
Yeah, I think the only thing you need to do is change the string. You could give a beginner a Pure Drive, put some Syngut in there just to get them going, or a nice affordable multi. They're good to go. It's got a massive sweet spot for a racket. It's not heavy. It's easy to maneuver. And then, if they keep playing and they get to like a college level, you put a poly in it.
Yeah,
Same
there you
racket, strung differently, and it's a perfect fit for this completely different player.
Yeah.
You kind of get spoiled when you like grow up with a Pure Drive. There's no reason why you'd probably want to change, but like if you do want to change, it's so hard. Like because playing with this for like the amount of time we did for the playtest, I went back to like any other frame that I usually would, like my blades and all that. I was like,
You can't compare it to a
I
play.
don't want to play with my blades.
It's our guilty pleasure.
Yeah.
You can't not have
Great
it.
frame.
It's so fun.
It
It's
gets so
easy.
spoiled. Yeah.
What would you suggest you demo next to a Pure Drive 98? Obviously, the Pure Aero 98.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
What else? is
E-Zone 98, that's a no-brainer. Maybe the T-Fight 300S would be an interesting one to throw in there. That one is a racket that's really gaining in popularity rapidly as well, and still has a fairly crisp, clean feel to it, a little crisper and cleaner than the outgoing one. So yeah, those are the ones I would probably look at.
For the standard, I'd say the E-Zone 100, the V-Core 100 from Yonex, the Wilson Ultra 100, the V4. I think for me, it's been played a lot nicer than the two previous generations. So that one I would throw in there. What else?
On the forum, a guy said he switched from the Extreme MP to this. Would you compare that?
I think it has similarities. I think it'd be more in line of like a Pure Aero. Oh, a Dunlop FX 500 might be one to throw in there as well.
I mean, everyone has an answer to the Pure Drive because it's such a popular
And the
racket.
Slinko Blackout 300.
Yeah,
another
that's what
one.
I was wondering. I haven't spent as much time with the Blackout. I like the Whiteout a little bit better, but for the extended, you can throw in an E-Zone 100 plus. I was going to say the Whiteout, but I don't think so. The Whiteout has a little bit more control.
The Blackout.
The Blackout,
Definitely
yeah.
the Blackout.
Yeah, they're all kind of like in the same category,
Yeah.
I guess.
Ultras. Did we
Ultras.
say ultras? Yeah, we said ultras.
Yeah. Which, yeah, the Ultra.
Maybe they need
It's
to make
pretty-
a plus version.
I know, exactly.
That'd be nice.
We don't really play test the lighter models, but I wanted to hit on the lighter rackets as well. I noticed they're doing well in sales for us, and we mentioned juniors, so it's a great starting point. And then you even mentioned the oversize, which I think, did Mark Sabecki ever play with one of the big Pure Drives or only Pro Kennex?
You may have.
Yeah, I feel like he did.
Yeah.
I will say.
I think the lighter ones too could be good for maybe a smaller framed woman,
Yeah.
woman, kind of more beginner to starting out.
Someone transitioning out of a junior racket.
That was my other. Yep, those two would be great.
And then last thing is, I feel like previously, like years ago, maybe like 10 years ago, we saw a lot of Pure Drives on tour with the ladies, and we've kind of seen this shift where like the top 50 aren't really using Pure Drive, but there's a lot of players outside the top 50 that use Pure Drive, and then there's a good up-and-coming men's player. So let's talk about some of the pros.
Betty Perica.
Okay, I was like, he'll pronounce it. We were talking about him a little bit today. How tall is he?
I don't know.
He's tall.
7. I don't know.
Homeboy.
Homeboy tall.
And he's
dude.
using the 98, right?
Well, so
Okay.
I was talking to one of our Bablot friends at Templeton. He said he switches between like the 100 and the 98 depending on how he's feeling that day.
What?
I can respect that.
Yeah, and so like if he's like looking for a bit more control and then he goes to 98, which makes sense why he would do that.
Okay.
But for a pro player to be able to like just switch like that and on an every daily basis, like depending on how they feel, is so odd.
Yeah, that's
he
not
does
very
it.
common at all.
Yeah, but he
Well,
does
and
it.
it's not like the E-Zones where like the 98 and the 100 have the same string pattern beam width. They're different.
They
They're
flex
different
differently.
rackets.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forget his name, who I was talking to, but he's
Daniel?
yes, and he was telling me that. And I was
Shout
like,
out.
Shout out.
He'll listen.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, okay, that's.
That's interesting.
Oh, another thing on the team, kind of like when you get into those lighter specs, and I think one of our pros did this maybe in the Pure Aero.
Kayla.
She was using a team because it gave her more room to customize, right?
Yep.
So that's if you do like to customize, and every other spec is the same except the weight. Go with the lighter weight one because then you got so much room to tinker and really dial in the weight balance, swing weight to your liking. So that's another option.
Nice. Yeah.
Did one of our other pros, Tara?
Actually, I was just thinking because Renata was just playing Zarazua. Renata Zarazua uses it. Juju almost uses it, and Tara Moore uses it. So there's 3 players right there. I was going to say more double specialists, but Renata is a single specialist right now. Yeah.
She's playing.
She's playing great.
Right now, yeah.
So a lot of these, did they play in college? I feel like college Pure Drive is very popular.
For sure, yeah. Juju
players.
did, but the other two didn't.
Yeah.
So, but I think like it was like that 90s, thousands. Like we grew up with Kleisters and
Right.
I don't know.
Roddick.
And then
guys,
does
yeah.
Kenin still use the Pure Drive? She does, right?
Yeah.
During Australian Open, I totally forgot that she won in 2020. That's crazy with a Pure Drive. So.
And there was like some pictures of like Rune playtesting with the Pure Drives. I don't know if he's gonna switch or not. But he's an Aero user, right? Rune?
Well, yep.
Yeah. So there was some pictures of him like trying. I don't know if it was the 98 or the regular. Probably the 98. But he was playing with the Pure Drive. I was like, oh, okay, that'd be a nice.
That'd be cool.
Pure Drive watch.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be awesome to see more. Ever since like Muguruza retired and no more Kleisters, so it's like been less Pure Drives in the top, but I think it's still a popular racket outside.
Yeah. Is it like do a lot of Cal Poly players play with the Pure Drive? Do we see a decent amount?
Oh, I'm sure.
I mean, there's a lot of college players.
Yeah, I was gonna
playing.
say I feel like a lot of college players.
I was like, I thought you
like specifically.
And then from what I've heard, I mean, this Pure Aero 98 is really, really popular with male college players. I'm sure the Pure Drive 98 is going to find a good following. Yeah, and then imagine the standard one too. If you just like the more of that 100 kind of feel, it's a great way to go.
Yeah. Cool. Well, did we cover it all? What did we not cover? I feel like we did. Anything that
Closing thoughts?
Yeah. if you were to take a Pure Drive into a tournament tomorrow, what's your setup and which one are you going with?
Literally this.
Okay, give us the exact setup. Tell me what you've customized.
It's got a leather grip on, so
Leather
the
grip.
balance is 7 points headlight, but it's got a 330 swing weight. This is the Hurricane Pro string in it, and
What
I
tension?
strung it at 56.
Okay.
It's probably dropped a decent amount ever since because it's been on here for a long time, and it's a nice frame. I really liked it. The Hurricane Pro, like that tension gives you decent control, and the racket itself with the 330 swing weight, you get all the power you need. You don't really, and I was serving well with this, so yeah, definitely I'll take just this.
Nice. Yeah, Manish and I have been fighting over the 98s.
That's why I haven't been able to hit with one. You guys have specced them out of my spec range. I feel like that'd be really tough for me to choose between the 100 and the 98. I'm going to go with Pericard and bring both to my tournament.
See how you're feeling.
But I think if I had to, I think I might go with the 98. It has the Pure Drive power, but a little bit more control. I know that's fair. Like, why would you use a Pure Drive to get? But I could still get my pop on my serve, which is what the Pure Drive I feel like is gold standard for. But when I'm going after my shots of being more aggressive, I don't feel like I have to hold back as much as I can hit for I can go for a more precise target, and it goes there. So I think that, although now I'm going to try to steal one back and try to get a hybrid in there.
We have a small grip.
Okay,
that has
good.
a low swing weight. Don't worry.
Perfect.
What
We'll
string
send it
setup
your
would you
way.
go
Yeah.
For the hybrid?
Yeah.
I mean, I think what you said, the Excel,
With the
Hurricane, which I like both strings, so I think that might be a good starting point. And I normally string around 52, 53 pounds, so I'd stick with that in stock form.
Nice.
In a grip size too. And no overgrip. I do not like overgrips.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, I can use it, but I prefer not to.
Okay. I didn't know that.
For me, I would go with the Pure Drive Plus because I already know the 98. As much as I like it, I'm still going to rather hit the Pure Aero 98. But with the Plus and the Pure Drive, I'm serving bigger with it. I'm going to hit. It's going to bring some power, additional power to the game. So it's going to add something. Whereas I feel like the Pure Aero and Pure Drive 98s are so close, but I just play slightly better with the Aero version. So I'd have to go with the Plus just so I get a little bit more snap on the backhand slice, bigger pop on the first serve.
And you're a one-hander, so
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you, this just came in my head, do you ever find like a issue with like lag or anything when you're hitting with the extended frames?
Yeah, on the forehand. Because I think my backhands are more linear stroke. And so it just goes through. Like I can hit a good 1E with a wood racket, which is 13 plus ounces, right? Sometimes close to 14 ounces. And same with the wood racket. Like I always find I'm late on the forehand with it, and the backhand just comes around. So yeah, it's more of an issue on the forehand side when it gets heavy for me.
That's the only reason, like the one reason, like I never liked extended frames, because it's very hard to hit my one-hander with that.
Oh.
Yeah. Because
Would you prefer the
can't,
Pure Drive Plus or the Pure Aero 98 for doubles?
Oh.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I would go. I just love the Pure Aero 98s.
It's still.
So yeah, it's going to win out against any of them. But if I'm going to pick a Pure Drive, I'll go Plus for doubles or singles.
You have a string setup? Did you already say that? No.
I didn't. I like the Hurricane. Great string. RPM, but it's got to be super fresh. And then outside of Barbala, I'm really enjoying Snapper. I've been hitting that in my current racket of choice, which is not on the table. And then, the obvious other ones like Hyper G, Cyclone.
Classics.
I like Razor Code too. Another good string.
Nice.
Yeah.
I will go. I also am not sure because, again, commitment issues. But something interesting is we had a lot of Pure Drive 98s. We only had one Pure Drive Plus, and that is one racket that I really wanted to spend more time with after the playtest. As our listeners know, we have our scientist who does all of his numbers, and he was hogging it for a little bit of time. So I actually would like to try the Plus again and like restring it. However, I know that it comes with so much power and I don't necessarily need that. And I feel like I would up my tension on the string just to add that control, which is why I'm trying to like make it work with the 98. This spec I really like. Again, it's 12 ounces. 340 is a bit more than I actually prefer. I would prefer to bring it down to like something 335. 333 actually has been a really nice swing weight for me lately. So I'm still going to tinker around and like, well, and by me, I mean, Troy, help me. I'm going to try to get it dialed in. I'm also having this weird thing with grips because this is a quarter and I usually use 4 3/8. And I'm not sure if I'm going down a side. I know like everyone says Babolat runs a little bit bigger, but I'm used to Babolat, so I don't know. We're not ready to make a decision. If I'm going to a tournament, I'll probably take the 98, period.
And string?
String. I have been enjoying a Snapper in there. I also hit Otoro in there a lot. Hyper G. They're all good.
We like polys.
Sorry. Yeah, I know. People
poly.
cringe and they're like, but hey, that's... In college, we didn't have poly. So I don't know what I was struggling with, but it was breaking every 2 hours. So I'm just happy to have some control.
I mean, I used the Pure Drive Roddick, then I went into the Pure Drive Plus. So I had like 4 or 5 years of Pure Drive play with polys. Never.
It's fine. Oh, I guess that was one thing to hit on real quick because we are getting, people just kind of assume this is the Pure Drive that's so stiff. The RAs have changed a little bit. There's new technology. The Flax does definitely make it a more comfortable situation. So yeah, maybe you guys can hit real quick on the arm condition. How did you feel after hitting these rackets?
Honestly, even with this high swing weight and then adding a leather grip on it, I did not have any arm issues, and I have a wrist injury, and I sometimes thought it starts bugging me. Didn't have that problem with the Pure Drive 98. So I'm.
And the RA is pretty low on this one.
The 98, I don't know.
66? I mean,
Yeah,
not pretty low.
That's middle
Lower
of the
than
road.
normal.
Yeah.
I'm pulling up real quick.
Compared to what it was, at least.
Because I'd say that's pretty middle of the road because there are not many rackets these days that are in the 58
50s,
to 61 kind of range. So I think most of them are.
Okay, right now it's 69. We may have taken more samples. Oh yeah, it was adjusted. So all of everything on our website is based on specs and sampling. So or sampling specs.
And we do like to measure as many as we can just to give you a good average.
Yeah.
Thank you. Britt, did you have any arm issues?
I'll preface it by saying I haven't ever had any arm issues, and previously Pure Drives have never had any issues to me. So this one was
Good to
no
know.
surprise, no issues for me. I think too, as long as you have, solid strokes, I feel like that's one of the big fundamentals. Before you switch to poly, make sure your strokes are developed.
Yeah, I don't have those on. Sorry. I'm so sorry. Do not have those.
Maybe that's why you have a wrist injury.
Hey.
It's not the racket.
It's you.
You heard it here first.
So I had no issues with arm comfort or stiffness or anything. And yeah, I like the feel of a Pure Drive, so it's all good in mine.
Nice. Any comments on?
So the only time I ever feel like it's anything's kind of like in the arm, and it can be any racket, pretty much any string, is when it's like 50 degrees or below.
So
And you're playing like at night or what, under the lights, and it's cold and crisp out. It's a dry crispness because we're in California. But that's when the tennis balls feel like rocks. Yeah, and that's the only time when I'm just like, whoa, man, the balls just feel heavy. But no problems at all.
Yeah, same. I feel like I have kryptonite arms at this point. The only time I've ever experienced really bad issues is when I string volley too high and I hit it right off the stringer. So I'm just bashing balls. But that hasn't happened in over 10 years. So we're good.
I think at least with the Pure Drives, Babolat's definitely going away from that whole. You remember, like, people used to say, "Oh, Pure Drive, nah, man, my arm."
Yeah,
that's not the case anymore. It
it's
hasn't
definitely
been
more
for a
comfortable.
while, and I think with the new update, definitely so. So, like, definitely try the Pure Drive. You can't use that arm excuse anymore. Honestly, with the new Pure Drives, you need to try it out. It's a great frame, no arm issues.
Nice. Well, that's it. No arm issues. Go grab a demo. There's a bunch of options.
Yeah, give it a try.
Cool. Well, if you guys have any other questions about Pure Drive or other rackets, leave them in the comments. And thanks for joining me, you guys, and happy hitting.